You guys scared? You should be. Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News. It's February 25th, 2018, and I just majorly failed for the first couple minutes of this audio recording. But regardless, we've unscrewed the Google Hangouts now. You gotta love it. You know, you do like 120 Hangouts, and then you go, hey man, something's wrong here. The little green dots don't have green dots. Props to the chat. It's good to check your chat, everybody. Chat kept me straight. I could have been running my mouth another 30 minutes before I even knew that I'd wasted my time. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about fear porn. And that's why you see the very scary title. Because very scary is really in style. And fear porn is a bad thing. We need to talk about it now. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute. In mod, I was showing y'all. Couldn't hear a damn thing. There's me, big throat and all. I don't have I'm giving you the abridged version now. So I got over my flu. I got over my my pneumonia. The reason why I still sound like crap, guys, is because I have Graves' disease, and basically my thyroid's kind of blowing up, and nobody cares about trolls, homie. My thyroid's kind of swelling up. I had a neck scan just this week, and basically the doctor said, hey, you know, you got a noose growing around your neck. So for those of you who don't know what Graves' disease is, look it up. It's horrible. I've had it for about 9 years, and pretty soon I'm going to deal with that. Regardless, I posted some updates to the AMS trip I took. Right here, a couple videos. A bunch will be coming soon because I'm feeling much better. I'm getting a lot done, and I'm going to start rolling those out. Look for hashtag AMS 2018 on YouTube, on the YouTube channel you're watching right now. Make sure you tell people to subscribe. These videos are going to be epic, and I will be releasing all of the interviews. John F. Kennedy had Graves' disease. Interesting. When I went to the conference with G. Edward Griffin last year, they had Lord Monckton was there, and he has it as well. Moving along, since I mentioned G. Edward Griffin, I would like to point out that something epic happened to me. I was invited to the Red Pill Expo, as you guys saw earlier. This guy hanging out with James Corbett and from the Corbett Report, Robert Kiyosaki, G. Edward Griffin, and Patrick Wood, author of Technocracy Rising. Amazing people, good company, going to be an expanding roster. This is all very new. Don't tell anybody I told you. So anyway, that's 115 days out. It's going to be June 21st, 22nd, 23rd up in Washington State. We will have a booth there. So if you'd like to meet me in person, I'd love to meet you at the Red Pill Expo. I will have ticket links for that soon, hopefully. Keep your eyes peeled. In other news that I keep forgetting to mention, but I don't want to miss another day, please, 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 I'm going to go ahead and drop this link in chat. Pass this thing around to everybody you know. Pass it far and wide. Share it. Make sure people comment. So, proposed information collection, comment request, weather modification activities reports. This is the U.S. government Federal Register, federalregister.gov. What I'm saying right now, all jokes, stop for one moment. In 1972, there was the Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972, which came on the heels of the weather warfare we did in Vietnam shortly before signing of the NMOD weather warfare ban. So if you guys don't know the history of this, screw it. You need to get into it right now and come here, because for the next 33 days, there is an open comment period on how the U.S. government collects reports on those who modify the weather. Okay? Current law states that you must go to, you must fill out a form. And, well, I guess we might as well show the form since we're there. So I'm going to go to the best website to do that, weathermodificationhistory.com. I'm going to hit this and I'm going to say Reporting Act of 1972, and there it is. I'm going to click on that thing right there, and I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to show you there are all the statutes and the laws and the links and all that, how it got to be, and here's the form. Boom. So you got to fill this form out. Initial report on weather modification activities, and as I stated, this is Public Law 205, 92nd Congress, and this was initially signed in 1972. So you have to report to National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This is NOAA. This is a NOAA form. Who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you're going to do it at, who's paying for it, sponsor, operators over here in this column, when you're going to do what, it says date of first actual weather modification activity, expected termination date, size of area you're going to shoot at, where you're going to do it, and all that stuff. Description of weather modification apparatus, modification agents, and their dispersal rates, the techniques employed, etc. And you follow that up with an interim report, which is also a final report. And it says number of days you modify the weather, increase in precipitation, hail, fog, other. This is number of modification days per major purpose. Hours you operated it by type, airborne or ground, and type agent you use, silver iodide, carbon dioxide, CO2, or dry ice, urea, which is fertilizer, that's PP, sodium chloride, that's salt, and then other. Just make something up. Concrete. Russians did it. Why not? So this is how it all works right now. The point of all this is right now they've got an open comment period on this law. And you click submit a formal comment, and this goes on to the Federal Register forever. And some poor bastard up at NOAA's got to read what you wrote. And everybody else can read what you wrote also. So what I want you guys to do is get in here and read this stuff. Come over here to weathermodificationhistory.com. Here's the Reporting Act of 1972, link in chat. Should have been here for those watching archive. You're going to have to Google it. Regardless, this is important stuff. This is going to determine how the government collects reports on who and what and when and where and why people modify the weather. What I personally am pushing for in the Environmental Modification Accountability Act is public notice. Currently, you have to report this to NOAA. NOAA does not have to report it to the public. You can call NOAA. You can fax NOAA. They'll fax you, email you, hit you back. If you want proof of that, over here on ClimateViewer 3D, if you agree to be nosy, you can come over here to the geoengineering section and see those reports. So here is a NOAA report from 2004, and you click the little plus button there, and there they are. These are the government reports for the year 2004, and you can see that they're filled out exactly like the form I showed you. Agent used, square miles, who paid for it, who did it, operator, sponsor, link. Telluride Ski Resort paid Western Weather Consultants to do 500 square miles of weather modification. You know, and they call that snowpack augmentation. That's a fancy word. Augmentation. I like that. Not. So if you want to know when people are modifying the weather, I think that, you know, just follow my lead over here on the climateviewer.com/nmod page. But I'd like to see these reports in real time on a website. NOAA, as they're getting the reports on weather modification, should be publishing them somewhere. They do not. The forms used to be on corporateservices.noaa.gov. They no longer are. I don't even know where the current forms are. And I'm an expert on this. So 33 days to get your comment in there. Links will be in the details of the video. But please get your comments in there. Tell people to comment. Tell people this is real. This is the government Federal Register wanting to know, what do you think? How should we collect weather modification activity reports? Very important to me. Hope it's important to you. If that resonates, make it go far and wide to get your comments in before the 33 days. Appreciate you if you can get in on that. Most people don't want to take the time. Right now, I'm doing a server drive for ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org, and WeatherModificationHistory.com. Each year, I ask you guys to help me out. It's about $1,000 to pay the bills for all the servers, URLs, and then, bells and whistles that go with that. I got Cloudflare and a couple other security measures in place. But regardless, I've raised about 375, no, maybe 425 of that 1,000 already. And the bill is due on the 1st of the month. I got started real late because of the sickness, because of the this, that, and other. I was moving from one house to another. So this is kind of last minute for me. Normally, I start doing this server drive at the beginning of February. Completely slipped my mind. And you guys know I do this every year. So if you can help out, it's paypal.me/ClimateViewer. Link is on the back of the thing. Great White North documentary coming out. All of the clips I'm going to be releasing probably this week. Just so you know, every single clip from the AMS.
He's being mean to you.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So don't.
Oh, that's a troll. Hold on. Fuck you. Back to the show. Sorry. Didn't realize that was a troll. You get nothing. Everybody else clips will be in the mail. I mean, this week, like on my YouTube channel. Fuck that guy. So, talk.io/CV News is the chat. Haven't used that in a while. Going to be putting that back on weathermodificationhistory.com, ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org. And I hope that you guys will get in on that. So let me embed that thing. It'll be up on the sidebars, even on this sexy looking map. So that brings me to the map real quick. Now, I've got a lot of good and bad comments recently on the map. So what I'd like to say about the map is this. This is a new version of the map. I understand it's a little complicated, but it's going to be all right. Y'all need to calm down. Shit. So, I haven't done a tutorial video. I'm working on it. And, I admit the category is a little bit screwed up right now. But I worked on that too. It doesn't say add data anymore. It says add maps. Maybe that's less confusing for people. I know George bitched a whole lot about it. So George Stiller is a friend of mine. He helped me make this weather modification map we're looking right now. And you can see that right here in the details. So the way this map browser thing goes is if you click on the title of it, it shows you the details of it. If you click the plus, it goes ahead and puts it on the map. If you hit add to map, I think everybody knows what's going to happen. It's going to get on the map. So that's pretty much it. There are categories, and then there's maps. If you see a plus, that's a map. If you see a little arrow, that's a folder. It looks like a folder. Now, I know a couple people have been miffed by the categories, so what I did was I reworked them. And they're going to be closed by default when you come here. It's going to look just like this. So everything's in alerts and live maps. These are all the live ones. Earthquakes, fire, smoke, volcanoes, lightning, rain, all the normal measurements, satellites. And what you're going to see that's different is I've gone through and I'm starting to put all these details in for all this stuff that wasn't really explained before. Because A, I assume a lot. B, I don't have a lot of time. C, I put way too much in there at once. D, I don't have much time. So I'm going through this, and you can see now that I'm starting to explain what a EU METSAT is. I mean, you might want to know. So there's a link, even a little pretty graphic. And, GOES, what's a GOES? I don't know what a GOES is. GOES is this. So this will help, people understand what you're clicking on. All right, this is a satellite. If I click on the satellite and then I click on this, what happens? Well, it shows me a preview. But what if I don't want a preview? I want to see it. I click this thing. Oh, it has an error right in my face. That was a major fail. Bad layer. No sandwich. Why did it do that to me, Kelly? You saw that shit. Let's do this guy. Need to fix it. It's not working. So it's a work in progress. All right. I'll admit that. We all fail. We're human, right? Come on. Earthquakes. Look at the pretty earthquakes. See, I'm not failing now. We're back to winning a little bit. So the point being, I'm a self-taught programmer. This shit is complicated. And I'm always working on it. So if you guys hit the about page, all right, my deets are there. You can always email me, jim@climateviewer.com, and you can say thank you or I hate you for changing it. But regardless, I'm going to measure that from here to here and go, we got new features, and I like these new features. And I don't really care about some of the complaints, like, hey man, there's not a lot of options in there right now for the background, but dude, this thing, if you go to it now and it crashes before on every mobile device that's more than 2 years old, and now when anybody comes to it, it defaults to a 2D flat leaflet map, not a cesium map, which means it actually works for like all the people that I see on my stat counter who are like, it broke and they left. That's a major win. So I have to have priorities. That's all I'm saying. Chat. All right. So let me go back to the chat real quick because I buried you under like 20 windows. Chat people, I love you. And y'all all right with me. And just keep telling the troll fuck off. Chat's got him covered. See? I knew it. I knew the chat had my back. All right. So back to the propaganda, which is where we start. We done did a full circle. Fake news, fear porn, down. So what I want to tell you guys real quickly is that I've been watching the stuff about Obamagate and watching, the stuff about Russians interfering in the election. And I want to tell you a sweet little story real quick because this is kind of funny to me. Everything's pretty predictable, and it's usually based on fear. Fear, specifically FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And you can write that down. FUD. If you don't know what FUD is, it's like the control mechanism of life today. It is real mind control. That's how people change minds, change perceptions, change reality. So what I need people to understand, though, is how it works in today's society in the technological age. So it goes like this. And this is a quote on the sidebar of every page on good night, Anthony. Appreciate you, bro. The annihilation of mental colonization. One of the saddest lessons of history is this. If we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. This is Carl Sagan talking. And the reason why it's important is that you can stack up all the evidence you want. You can write the longest, most beautiful article. It's well referenced. And somebody will come back and say TLDR. That means too long didn't read for the older crowd. So the point is, all your carefully laid arguments are easily ignored. And the reason why is because people have these mental blockages, and they're usually caused by fear. And Carl Sagan points that out pretty obviously in his quote. Goes on like this: "We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It is simply too painful to acknowledge, even to ourselves, that we've been taken." Because you fear it. Once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back. So, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When the CIA and their MK Ultra experiments wanted to do mind control, they realized that through fear, uncertainty, and doubt, they could wipe a person's mind clean and build them up brand new. Whenever you go into the military, I have personally experienced this. They build a society of FUD where you don't know when you're going to wake, you don't know when you're going to sleep, you don't know anything, you're constantly on the move, you're constantly tired. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Build them, you got to break them down to build them up. So, what you have to understand about what does this have to do with Russian hacking, Jim? I mean, I sound like I'm pretty far afield, right? Not really. So fear, uncertainty, and doubt was, pretty much mastered by IBM Corporation. And they used it to fight their enemies. And nowadays, the best way to really spread a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt is through what, has been called slave speak. Orwell called it newspeak, to modify the English language to such an extent that people are all confused about what the words even mean, which is definitely uncertainty and doubt. What the hell are you talking about? Now I'm scared. So I'll give you an example. Talks about HARP. You guys know I talk about HARP. It's over here on ClimateViewer.com on the geoengineering page. Click that and then click the HARP page. It's ClimateViewer.com/HARP. Point is this. Where were we? Back to the page I was on. I lost it. There we go. It's hard to fight an enemy who has outposts in your head. Ideas are more powerful than guns. We would not let our enemies have guns. Why should we let them have ideas? And finally, language creates spooks that get into our head and hypnotize us. So what happened with this real Russian hacking of the election? I kind of saw it coming. This is me on Facebook, November 7th, 2017. Before the election I say election prediction. Trump wins in landslide. New World Order says Russians hacked election. Landslide fake. Landslide fake. Yep, that's pretty much what happened. And then I go on to link to this. What is this? I don't even remember. All hands on deck to protect election from hack, says them. Same time. Now, I'd actually said this because I was watching NPR and Charlie Rose had that squirrely MFer from the CIA on there. I always forget his name. Anyway, he likes to lean over real far, and the more bullshit comes out of his mouth, the further he leans over. It's not Clapper. It's not Pompeo. Chad will help me out, I'm sure. Anyway, so this squirrely CIA guy's on there, and he starts going ahead and dropping the hints at the Russian thing. And I'm like, this is pretty obvious, And of course I put this out, old dude Charlie Rose, not Brennan. He was a regular contributor on there on Charlie Rose's show. He's a CIA guy. He's got brown hair. He bends crooked. Anyway, so the point is this. This is so transparent. Knew it was going to happen beforehand. Said so on my Facebook right there. Link in the deeds. By the way, friend me on Facebook for you guys in chat. Link for you. Point is it was telegraphed. Everybody should have saw it coming. And the question is why? And everybody pretty much knows now why. Well, pretty simple. Has anybody watched the Project Veritas videos? Pretty clear. Bob Creamer going to Obama's office 30 times, was actually causing physical violence at Trump rallies. Same thing that Robert Mueller has accused those Russians of in the 13 that were indicted. We have Americans who actually did that same time here in America. And we know who did it, why they did it, when they did it, thanks to James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. Yet, the Dems, the Mueller, witch hunt, all of that FUD basket is just to keep this FUD wagon going. And the sad part is the Carl Sagan quote. There are a bunch of people, despite all the evidence in the world, who still believe this bullshit narrative. I mean, even though I predicted it, even though it's now come to fruition that, the only Russian hacking that really occurred was pretty weak. Oh, wait. There were 5 separate governments who hacked Hillary Clinton's emails. I mean, Russia was one of them. So this is even more laughable. They project everything they're doing. They project. It's a projection. So, and they use it to create uncertainty. So you go ahead and you say, well, that's what Trump did. Because now I've created the uncertainty that maybe Trump did do it. And when Trump says, no, I didn't, you did it. Of course, that's what you'd say. Of course. I say that he's colluding with the Russians. And look at him. Now he's saying I colluded with the Russians. Bet you colluded with the Russians. Anyway, Russians aside, if you go look at the Project Veritas videos, that's why there's so much FUD out there. That's all prestidigitation on the television screen. As Bob Creamer and his punk sidekick said, we put our bird dogs in the front row of the news and we create reality movies. Man, that sounds cool, right? That's perception management. That is creating FUD. That is interfering with the U.S. election. That is everything that Robert Mueller and company accused those Russians of in their indictment happening right here in America, documented by James O'Keefe and company. And there are no indictments for that. I mean, from the email scandal to the IRS scandal to the Fast and the Furious, to just going on down the line. What we have learned really is that Obama's White House and the Democrat Party acted like a mafia to weaponize, wait for it, go to ClimateViewer.com/privacy, wait for it, the NSA Stone Ghost Network. Now that's a no-no. And this is not the first time this has happened. So really what's going on here is Obama wanted access to all that. And that's what they got. They made up a story. They took a dossier, all their crony technocrat buddies, who run, the people call them the deep state. I don't give a damn what you call them. They're mafia. I mean, they're acting like mafia. That's the Clinton Foundation mafia. In my personal opinion, that's, call it like you see it. Regardless, how does a deep state spy on Americans? They get Britain's GCHQ to do it. What was Steele? He was a Brit. He He was ex-MI6. Anyway, this is well documented. 53 right here. Go look at the Guardian, look at the Intercept, Glenn Greenwald, the revolving door. Brits spy on Americans per request by NSA. NSA spies on Brits per request. All goes through Stone Ghost Network. What is Stone Ghost? Oh, by the way, Canadian spies sold NSA secrets to Russia for only $3,000 a month. While they're playing us, everybody, like a fiddle, while they're crying, bitching, and moaning about this, literally a dude up in Ottawa, Canada, who worked for some, Canadian Air Force installation, was selling those same secrets that they got the FISA application for. This has been on my website since 2009, people. So that's not in the news. And Israel gets all of this unmasked, every single bit of it. Shares raw intelligence with Israel. Documented by Glenn Greenwald, was on The Guardian. It's on Wikipedia now. It's so commonly known. But, unmasking a couple citizens with a FISA request somehow is a big deal. I mean, Snowden and the CIA leaks happened, and people are still pretending like they don't know that the NSA records every damn thing on the planet, which is very frustrating to me. U.S. corporations access to Stone Ghost used to be called Echelon. Lots of lawsuits over that. How American defense contractor Raytheon won a $1.3 billion contract in Brazil to monitor the Amazon rainforest after the CIA, acting as a whistleblower, reported that Raytheon's French competitor, Thomson Alcatel, had been paying bribes to get the contract. Yep. That's how the real world works. CIA spying on other defense contractors makes sure our defense contractors get contracts by spying. So if you think that that's not normal, it is. You should read about it. That's why Obama and company and the Clintons and company wanted access to the Stone Ghost so bad. Because what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. You come over here to add, go in here, come here, close that. It's going to look like this. Here, privacy at the NSA Stone Ghost Network. I'll get rid of the earthquakes. They're not so cool now. Let's go back to the 3D. And then I'm going to go add the underwater cables because they look super cool. Yes. This is the NSA network. Damn. This is the spy network worldwide. As you can see, a lot of the places where the cables meet up, like Cyprus, there is a place to listen to them. And I've been pretty thorough. So you can go around the world, you visit all these neat places, see them. Like that's in Guam. Moving along over here. This is in Hawaii. But this is the access. This is what the FBI was stealing data from. It's called the Stone Ghost Network. It connects the Five Eyes. I only did the Five Eyes in this, guys. The Five Eyes are Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, UK. As you can see, when you click on these, each one of these well documented. The NSA's storage facility is out here. It is called the Comprehensive National Cybersecurity Initiative, CNCI Data Center. Hillary Clinton's emails are in that. For certain. Everything is in that. That records everything. So, this is what he wanted access to mainly. It's called the Utah Data Center also, for those who don't know. And if you're wondering how accurate the map is, pretty darn accurate, my friends. I'm meticulous. Yes, that looks like that, doesn't it? See how it's curved? Kind of weird, right? Not too often you see that kind of shit. So yeah, pretty particular about that sort of thing. All these dots are where the things are. So that's your NSA network. That's what Obama and company and the FBI and the FISA warrant and all that was accessing. This is where, downtown, near DC, all these spots, National Maritime Intelligence Center, the George Bush Center for the CIA. Did you know the CIA headquarters was formerly unnamed until George H.W. Bush, who had served as director of the CIA? I didn't know that.
You wrote that.
I didn't know that.
You typed that in.
I did not type that. I copy-pasted that from Wikipedia. My point is, the CIA's building's named after George Bush. I'm just saying. That's crazy, man. Anyway, so I put some D's in there. In making these maps, I learn a lot about a lot of stuff. And it starts to make sense. So what makes sense to me is this. Back to this Obama story. The Russian election thing, the Russian hacking thing, it's just, it's partially a diversion. It's obviously true. I mean, they're always hacking. We're always hacking them. They're hacking us. I was a network. Yeah, China was hacking the tire shop that I managed. All right. This was called the, what was it? Night Dragon attacks. Oh, by the way, don't ask about an attention right now, TJ Jones. It's so crazy. I emailed Seth earlier today. Anyway, such a distraction. I'm going to get back to working on attention very soon, but I got a lot going on, bro, man. Swear to God. So this Russian hacking thing, it's really just a distraction because, like I said, I was working at a tire shop. I managed 5 stores, the VPNs, virtual private networks, and we were getting hacked every single day by all these bots from China. And it was part of something called the Night Dragon attacks and the Komodo hack, Komodo SSL. Long story short, China was hacking our tire shop to get to our expense reports to find out what we were paying for tires, and then flooding the owner's inbox with, "Hi, I sell you good tire, 75% cheaper than what you're doing." It's insane. It's insane that people don't know this. This is called economic warfare. So these guys were hacking our tiny little tire shop in Sumter, South Carolina, to get prices to screw us by undercutting American dealers. And this has been going on for years. Yes, we are at war every single day on the internet. And that's how the real world works. So hacking is always going on. For them to say that Russia's hacking the election, of course they are. Duh. I mean, like, every hacker, IT guy, black or white hat, don't matter. Gray hat, no hat, goes, duh. What's the link to that real-time hacking map? This thing, hacking map. It's like Norse. There you go. Check this shit out. It's great. Live attacks. This is the current internet war. Let's see what's going on. I promise you it'd be scary. This is some scary shit you're about to see, people. If it ever loads them. Yeah. And 100 megabit connection is going to spin. Watch this stupid thing. It's my ad block plus, isn't it? Everybody knows it. They're like, couldn't load the ads. They're like, no, none for you, Sauce. Oh, well, there's so many attacks tonight. The Norse map is broke. Okay? That's how bad it is on the internet today. Anyway. Yeah, I know, right? It's so a light show, though. It's fun to look at. It's not real. None of it's real. The point is, this is what it's all about. It's about how the NSA's network was weaponized once again. This has happened many times in the past. I hope you guys will look at it over here. But I really want you to pay attention to this one. Because here's one. Don't talk about wetware. ClimateViewer.com/privacy. Chat room focus. You're misbehaving. I'm going to post a link. The Russians have hacked the chat room. Good Lord. All right. Stone Ghost and Monsanto versus anti-GMO activists in Paris. Gonna need some water for this one. All right. So during the first WikiLeaks, the Bradley Manning, when he was Bradley when this happened, there was a cable. I think I got a link to it. It's in the references. 15, right? 15. WikiLeaks right there. 07 Paris 4723A. France and the WTO AG Biotech case 2007, December 14. Film. So we all know what we're talking about here. This is a WikiLeaks Paris cable. And the part that's scary as hell is this. The NSA Stone Ghost Network, you saw it, this thing, was being used to get a list of activists, Monsanto activists, anti-GMO Monsanto hating activists in Paris to, quote, target retaliation list that causes some pain across the EU. And what that means is that the NSA network was being used by Monsanto in much the same way that Obama and Hillary and company used the NSA network to spy on Trump and company. It's the same revolving door. The same one that the Canadian spy had access to, and the Russians got access for only $3,000 a month. The Stone Ghost Network. So these are all the same thing. This is the network that Snowden was talking about, Bill Bilney was talking about. Hell, that's what we're all talking about is this. 5 countries, total 13 countries, all feed the NSA. It's called through a network called Stone Ghost. Obama and company had access. Monsanto had access. And Monsanto was using that access to make a target. This country team Paris recommends that we calibrate a target retaliation list that causes some pain across the EU, since this is a collective responsibility, but that also focuses in part on the worst culprits, meaning the mouthiest activists get it the worst. That's me. I've been feeling this shit for 7 years. You can't find my name on Google. Anyway, the list should be measured rather than vicious and must be sustainable over the long term, since we should not expect an early victory. I mean, the fact that you expect a victory is crazy, even with all your fancy toys. You can't stop people. I mean, if people don't want your bullshit, I don't care how many little digital WhatsApps and WhatsApp apps you got, you're never going to win. Norris, nothing. I just keep. It's like screw it. I forgot to look. Come on, you can do it. Let's just let it run in the background. Maybe they'll get it together. So the point is, we should not be prepared to cede on cultivation because of our considerable planting seed business in Europe. So they're talking about Monsanto 810, Mon 810, right there. First task is to review Mon 810. So that's right there. You have the U.S. government's NSA network spying on activists to cause bud and pain and hurt people. I mean, that's what they did before. They're going to continue to do it again. How do we know they did it before? Click this link. Stone Ghost versus WikiLeaks journalists. Let's close all these up so you guys see. See what I'm actually doing here? They're all these little doohickeys, and they're all closed up. Isn't that nice? Stone Ghost versus WikiLeaks journalists. And what you're going to find out is that this has all happened before. Now, as I mentioned, Glenn Greenwald put his nuts on the line when he reported the whole Bradley Manning thing. And as a result, some federal defense contractors were sent out to smear and besmirch him and other activists from America and journalists from America. This is American government defense contractors paid for by the CIA, same deep state guys you're talking about, to do FUD, to create narratives, to target the press and smear them, destroy their the same thing they're doing to Michael Flynn, to run them out of money, to do anything they can to shut down the truth. Does that sound like the America you want to live in? That's why Snowden, that's why Bill Bilney, that's why all of this FUD and these narratives like Russian hacking exist, to keep you focused on the smaller picture. You know what I mean? The smaller picture is this bullshit story that somehow Trump and them colluded. And hell, he might have before it's all said and done. I don't really care at this point. The point is that all of this detracts from the bigger problem. The bigger problem is that we have this monstrous information gathering apparatus, and it is dangerous. It is not secure. And everybody with a dollar or a grievance or agenda can get access to this one right here, the Utah Data Center. NSA in the house. There goes the links. Y'all saw me click on it. Now it's not working. Just don't want to work no more. Love it. Mean it. I'm on my local host. You guys can see I'm currently programming away on this thing. So I'm going to have to figure out what the heck is going on our alerts and maps. We'll do that later. So let's summarize. Propaganda bad, FUD worse. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. So what I'd like to tell you all is this: attack ideas, not people. It is okay for us to disagree. It is not okay for us to allow people, even whether it be Russians or Americans. And when I say Americans, I'm talking about Project Veritas, Bob Creamer, the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, whatever party. It's not a party when we're out there killing each other. And that is the goal, to create so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt that we do that. According to even the Mueller stuff, the bullshit that he threw together, the purpose was that the Russians were buying, both sides of the narrative, pro-Trump, against Trump, and then getting them out in the street. Why? Because the media, dumbasses like CNN, will happily lap it up. Dumbasses like Fox will happily lap it up if it suits their narrative. And they will regurgitate it without thought. Why? Because it makes money. Why? Because fear porn is addictive. And that's why even the activists, 90% of the activists that I deal with, they use fear on a daily basis to get their shit accomplished. I refuse to do that. I believe that fear is demoralizing. And if you are demoralized, then you can dehumanize. And once you dehumanize a group, fear sets in. They're not like me. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering. Propaganda. I hope that you guys will read about that. It's very important that we understand how this works. I put together a little Slave Speak TV. That's George Orwell right there. And some details on how FUD works. And the usual false left paradigm, how television actually works. Neurolinguistic programming, or mind control with words. Perception management and destroying reputations. The internet is a weapon just sitting there on the table. Either you will pick it up or your competitor will. Michael Dell, Dell Computer. Glass, china, and reputation are easily cracked and never well mended. Ben Franklin. It's as old as time, fine as wine, and they'll get you every time. That is what this FUD, mind control, and perception management goes. So I'm going to summarize with this. Perception management works two ways, one in the military, one in the corporate world. It's the same damn thing. In the military, they call it psychological operations, psychological warfare, narrative networks, or simply mind war. Zoom in on that. I don't know if it's not going to get much bigger. And in the corporate world, they like to call it public relations. But perception management goes like this. Where's my perception wheel? You do a perception audit. What does the public believe? You communicate your objectives. We believe that because of the Parkland shooting, we should take away AR-15s. They're evil. Who is the target audience? People who don't think much about how defense situations work with shooters. You need guns to defend yourself with people with guns. Positioning and key messages. Let's get a bunch of kids. They're very manipulatable. And let's print up some really expensive signs and make this hella awkward in less than 24 hours. Core program elements. Who all's going to do what, where, when, and why? How are we going to get these kids up there? And, which ones are the smartest ones? Who's going to follow our narrative? Ah, shit, that guy said we fed him a question. That's bad. Timeline, budget control, evaluation, situational analysis. We just did a poll. That first round of bullshit did not work. Now, if we're ever going to get to this new world order and take away all the guns in America, we have got to get this ball rolling. So let's do another perception audit and make sure that this poll is actually right. Oh, wait, that's what the poll was. And the wheel goes around and around and around. So while everybody wants you to focus on gun control, they can control hurricanes. I'm going to leave you with that. This is kind of silly to me, but everything's part of an agenda. Somebody's always trying to use fear, the fear of people coming into your school to shoot up the place, to control you, so they will create enough fear, uncertainty, and doubt that you'll gladly give up your rights. Happened before will happen again if we don't recognize how they do it, how they control your mind, and it is through slave speak and FUD. Well, that's my show for tonight. Was it scary enough for you? Are you scared? The opposite of fear is love and laughter. You cannot laugh at what you love, or you fear. You do laugh at what you fear, and you love.
Laugh at yourself.
Yeah, you gotta laugh at yourself, because if you saw my neck right now, you'd have to laugh at me too. But on that personal note, my only options for Graves' disease is even more laughable. I'd love for you to leave me a comment in the details. If you made it this far through the video, bravo to you. Yay, you have an attention span. You are still alive. If the doctor's options for Graves' disease goes like this: we can cut it off. We can cut your thyroid out. Or plan B, the red pill. We can give you a pill full of nuclear radiation and it will burn your thyroid out. Now, the first one's going to take 6 to 8 weeks worth of recovery. Somebody might leave a scalpel in my neck. There's a lot of tendons in there. I mean, somebody might drop a cigarette butt in there. I've heard some crazy stuff left inside of people who were cut open. Just saying, kind of creepy. But, having my neck cut open, not really crazy about that either. Even less crazy about the nuclear option, because as some of you know, I'm not exactly a big fan of nuclear. So, the nuclear option, I know a lot of people who've done that said they did that and were fine. They're like, I had that done 20 years ago and I'm fine, Jim. And I don't have cancer. So here's how the story goes with that. I swallow the nuclear pill. I'm not allowed to be around my family for like a week because I'm what? Pissing radiation. So I want everybody to know this. While y'all are worried about Fukushima, you may go to a hotel where some poor schmuck like me swallowed a nuclear pill and pissed all in the toilet. And that toilet is radioactive hot because when they give you the nuclear pill, they send you home. They don't tell you where to go. So, I mean, I'm like a walking dirty bomb for like a week. I mean, how's that going to work? They'd be like, he's a dirty bomb. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Do I nuke my neck or do I let them chop my neck? Because I'm running out of air here, as you can hear, and it's not cool. Yeah. Or if you know some magic cure, like that doesn't require me to stick my feet in a bucket that's electrified. Let me know that in the comments. But Jim at ClimateViewer.com, let me know what you think about that. I don't know of many other alternatives right now. It's cut the neck or nuke the neck.
My heart can't.
And I got to do this for my heart because apparently if I don't do something, eventually my heart's just gonna blow up. So I want to be able to continue to do this for a long time. So I hope that you guys will support me over here at Climate Viewer News, ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org. And you can do that by hitting the bottom of the page where I have the bottom. Wow, there's so much content there. It's just taking me a year to get to the bottom of the page. I'll solve that. Right there, the PayPal, and there's a GoFundMe. That's for the map. I'm working on the map. Expect an update right now. This is my in progress work update one. As you can see, lots of new changes coming to that. You'll see that has lots of new details. Probably have this up tomorrow, live on the site, climateviewer.org. And don't believe the bullshit. There's a lot of FUD out there. You can always trust that I'm gonna, try to shoot you straight. Occasionally we'll make a joke in the title of a video. Come on, that's funny, right? It's a great video title. But seriously, Climate Viewer News is about just the facts, sans the bullshit, and you'll always get it real from me. So I appreciate you coming out tonight. This was a real fun show. I plan out the points. I never did. Here, I'm going to rare show. Where is it at? Too many tabs. Look at that. Is it this one? Red Pill, Nat Geo. I didn't even mention it. See, that's my preparation right there. Is nothing like that. So Nat Geo, there's a National Geographic documentarian video guy who's working on a teaser video thing. Now I got all my notes in there. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Please subscribe and pass this around.